Thanks so much, Steve, for that report. And joining us now to discuss all of this news is Rawan Osman, a Syrian-Lebanese peace activist. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. First off, tell me what you think about this potential news that these two leaders could speak. Of course, it would be very historic for the region.
Since the fall of Assad, I did say on Israeli TV repeatedly that Syria will be next to join the Abraham Accords, even before Lebanon, because I see the move, how swiftly the rebels and the jihadists got rid or overthrew Bashar al-Assad told me that this was a coordinated regional decision to close the corridor between Iran and Hezbollah. What happened is brilliant. I'm not saying trust Ashara. I do not trust him. He is a former Qaeda member, and his entourage are mostly former jihadists. But at the moment, they are the best we have, and they have other jihadists under control. Of course, these are historical moments, especially that it's very unusual for an Arab leader to speak positively about Israel. This is the importance of what is happening. And I'm happy that Israel did not welcome the gestures with open arms. I mean by that, you cannot let a terrorist in your backyard. Israel has enough to worry about at the moment, but they signaled openness. And I trust that the Israelis are intelligent enough to refuse to simply going back to the 1974 disengagement agreement. This is our opportunity to bring Syria and Lebanon into the Abraham Accords alliance, and nothing short of that is acceptable. But let's do it carefully.
Let me ask you.
The biggest challenge...
Go ahead, keep going.
The biggest challenge Ashara faces now is remaining alive. He needs to try and avoid assassination attempts. It happened already, but I believe with the Americans speaking about him positively, that their intelligence securities or forces or personnel on the ground or outside will help him survive this phase. And maybe we will see a peace agreement, a comprehensive peace agreement in the next year or two.
Do people inside of Syria and Lebanon, would they want their countries to join the Abraham Accords? Is that something that people talk about in these societies?
Definitely. You would be surprised. Lebanese and Syrians living abroad care less for peace, but those who live on the ground, those who face the consequences of the recklessness of the so-called axis of resistance, those who live in failed economies, those young men who were left with nothing but joining a jihadist organization because the world gave up on them. And we just accepted that Assad will live forever, just like many Iranians think Khamenei will live forever. Things are changing rapidly. Those on the ground are speaking in favor for a peace agreement with Israel. And if you ask, especially, I have access to that on social media. When I ask people, my followers, and they reply in the comments, would you like to see Damascus resembling Gaza or Dubai? And I asked the Lebanese, why are you so desperate to get a visa to go work in Abu Dhabi when Beirut could become even better? And you'd be surprised, the general mood is in favor.
Right. And I want to ask you, do you think there could be working relations between Israel and Syria in the near future? If so, what would those ties potentially look like?
I think those who paved the way for that to happen were the beautiful Druze communities. They were brave enough to cross the borders, to ignore the nonsensical imposed anti-normalization laws, because they have family members on the other side of the border. This could be the model. We can start with a community that we know will never stab us in the back. Slowly, maybe we can expand that. But as a trade partner, Syria would be brilliant. And Syria is in desperate need for collaboration with the Israelis, for the innovation, for the model Israel is in the region.
Right. Wow. A fascinating point about the Druze. So many Jewish people have actually told me in the past they believe that they can be the keys to peace in the Middle East because they know what it takes to work both sides, be part of these different communities, and their families still live on different sides of the borders, and they still hold their traditions and culture so close to them. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.